So we're on the sidelines of Pondy Litfest 2023 for our annual ritual actually with Dr. Anand Ranganathan and what are your pronouns today?
Cupcake.
Cupcake Abhijit Iyer Mitra.
Padre Cupcake.
Padre Cupcake Abhijit Iyer Mitra. So how's PLF 2023 been so far for you guys?
I mean, it's every year it gets better and better. So yeah, this is the best one yet.
Okay.
As a cupcake, I feel this is the most icing on the cupcake so far. So yeah, it's been very good.
So what I was thinking of was that the next time we meet for PLF 2024, we would probably have a new government in place, and there would have been the 2024 general elections, which would have already taken place. And so I thought, if it's just a few months away, why not spend the next few minutes discussing that? So the first question that I would actually like to ask both of you is that do you guys know for a fact, or at least can you predict that there will be a very clear mandate for the elections that's happening in the next few months? Do any of you think the mandate will be a very clear one? Either of you.
You start?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's clear.
And what about you? I mean, I just want a yes or no answer to begin
Yes,
with. So you think it will be a clear mandate?
100%.
100%. And both of you think it will be for
Narendra
Modi?
It'll be a fascist mandate.
Fascist mandate. Okay, then I think we have a lot to talk about already. So why do you think it will be a clear mandate?
So the signs have been there since 2009.
Okay.
The kind of inclination that Narendra Modi has had as to how he wants to shape. So he's not, I think he decided in 2009 itself that he's not here to win just for 5 years. He's here to shape the future, so he keeps on winning. At least that's his thinking. When he gave that iconic 2009, I'll make a nano class speech. And if you look at the trajectory of what his government has done, not in Gujarat, I'm talking about 2014 onwards, in the last 9 years, he's absolutely following that trajectory to the T. It's a welfare government. He is not bothered with the issues that I have written in my book or that Abhijit has talked about in the last 8 or 9 years, because he knows that those issues are for middle class and upper middle class and people who've who can arrange for and have their next square meal.
Yes.
Other than that, he needs to provide 400 million people or 500 million people gas cylinders, bank accounts, toilets, insurance scheme, and tap water. And if you look at state upon state, look at the way whenever BJP has won, other than, I'm not talking about the caste formulations and, like Karnataka was lost even though BJP held its vote share, but, JDS went en masse to the Congress. But I'm not talking about those machinations of elections. Let me give you the example of Tripura.
Yes.
So Tripura, BJP had a vote share of 1% 8 years ago. Today, it has 40%. Why? What was so special that happened that Modi did in the last 8 years that Tripura, of all places, Tripura,
Yes,
that had never voted BJP, increased its vote share from 1 to 40? It's very simple, because the tap water connections increased from 3% to 56%. Toilets increased likewise. Roads, highways. So this is a toilet gas cylinder sarkar. And I'm not being derisive at all.
No, absolutely not. It's actually
he knows what he knows what he's going to do. The trick was to deliver it.
Yeah.
You see, every government has wanted to give cylinders, toilets, build toilets. Not that Manmohan Singh didn't build toilets. He did.
Yeah.
It's just that Modi discovered that if you want to get votes, just building toilets is not enough. You have to deliver it to the end. You have to make sure people are using what you've built. So there is just spectacular, and that is the reason why.
So you don't think it'll be a tough election?
I don't think so, but let me add to that. We all know that BJP is going to win. The irony is that BJP doesn't know that. So somebody please tell BJP that it's going to win, because it is in two minds about it. So it wants to win at all costs. And when you try and do that, disasters happen. Like what happened in Bengal, when this Bengal election was for the taking for the BJP.
Yes.
People were fed up of TMC. But then they realized as the elections came closer and closer, 45% of the tickets were given to the TMC turncoats who joined BJP. So the electorate thought, why the hell would we vote for the same guys? We want to vote for the BJP. Same thing happened in Maharashtra. What has happened now? I mean, on one evening you say it's the most corrupt set of people, 70,000 crore scam, and the next day you induct them. So they are thinking of winning elections at all costs. They don't need to do that because the work that they have done will make them win it. But somebody needs to tell them that.
Okay, and Abhijit, what do you think the reason?
Diametrically opposite to his point of view.
Oh my God, there you go.
I think the problem with the BJP is that they were too complacent in West Bengal. They bought their own narrative that they were going to win, which is why they, took it far too easily. They didn't anticipate all the pitfalls. They never planned for it. They ignored their local cadre and it was very top-down driven. I don't want them to make that. I want them to be scared that they are going to lose the next elections. Because that is when they will redouble their efforts to win the next election. And they are going to lose Madhya Pradesh very badly.
Madhya Pradesh?
Absolutely. Okay. Kamal Nath's going to come with a 2/3 majority.
2/3 majority for Kamal Nath.
At least. Because remember they lost the last election. They came back through the back door.
But their vote share was still more than the Congress, right?
It doesn't matter. They lost the election. No? We shouldn't play this Sagarika Ghosh Rajdeep game that when you win the election, it's fair and square. When you lose the election, look at the vote share. Yeah. So they lost the last election. They're going to lose this Madhya Pradesh election. They're probably going to lose Chhattisgarh. Rajasthan's going to be a damn close call. And that's good. They need to lose those state elections so that they win the national election.
Which happened last time. Right?
The thing is, I don't think they've learned from Karnataka, number one, which is that in a state election, you can't project a national leader. You need a local leader. It can't be somebody corrupt like Yedurappa. It can't be somebody faceless like, what was the guy's name? Bommai? Or I forget. Totally faceless. You don't even remember his name anymore. You can't have somebody like that. You need to have a strong local face. They are not projecting a strong local face in Madhya Pradesh. Well, it's Mamaji, who everybody's fed up of. In Chhattisgarh, they're not projecting Raman Singh. In Rajasthan, they don't want to project Vasundhara. And of course, Vasundhara expects things will just fall in their lap. But at the national level, there are several reasons the BJP is going to win bigger than now. It's going to be more than 303 seats, and I'll tell you why. Number one, you look at Modi's record in Gujarat. In the first term, there was hardly anything that happened. In the second term, some reforms happened. The galloping reforms all started in the third term. Why? Because there was massive service delivery at the lower level that people started appreciating what Hindutva, etc., all those talking points are, what industrialization, etc. are.
Third term meaning after 2012, that would be.
Correct.
So you're saying that the reforms in Gujarat began after 2012?
The sweeping reforms.
Okay.
The gathering of pace and everything. That happened after 2012. You're seeing that here as well. The first term, there was hardly anything done. Second term, there's a lot that's been done. 370 was reformed. There's been a lot of bills. The Air India was privatized, etc. The coal blocks have all been privatized, etc., etc. Sure, there's been reverses like the farm laws and so on and so forth. But overall, it's been a very positive trajectory. I think the third term is where you will see rolling reforms happen, right? And there is a reason for it. It is when you deliver. People can't talk about Hindus in Hindustan till they have toilets, till they have cooking gas, till they have electricity. You deliver that, then they come up to that level to our middle class talking points.
So this is something that both of you agree on.
Well, he doesn't. I'm saying that it is this delivery that enables us to come and have the discussions that we are having at PLF. So they will now start talking Hindutva talking points. The population is at that level to be worried about the things that the middle class today worry about, which is why I think it is going to be an even bigger election victory. The third reason is They learned from 2004. 2004, you understand, it wasn't India Shining. India
No.
Shining has been made into this big...
It wasn't India Shining.
It wasn't India Shining at all.
Yeah.
The biggest reason, of course, it was a myriad of reasons. Nothing's ever monocausal. Was that the RSS refused to come out and campaign for Vajpayee.
Yes.
What was the first thing that Modi did? He started expanding the BJP. At any given point of time, the BJP to RSS ratio was 1:1 or 1.25:1. Today, it is 28 BJPs to 1 RSS.
Okay.
So the RSS can't do anything even if they want to do anything
28
about it.
BJP what?
28
Cadre.
cadres per one
okay.
RSS cadre. So it is not something that has been left to the vagaries of the RSS. Of course, the RSS also learnt a lesson that they probably shouldn't be doing what they did in 2004 anymore. But anyway, the BJP also learnt, well, Modi learnt the lesson. And today, you look at the sheer bulk and size of that party. You tell me one party that matches up to it on a national scale in terms of mobilization and voter delivery. Nobody's going to do it. So, just pure statistics, the way sociology plays out in, a rising upper class being more nationalistic, and combine that with the fact that you have a Vinashakali Viprita Buddhi opposition. You go to a average middle class guy and say, as a Hindu, do you feel discriminated against? Sure. You go tell an average middle class guy, India is not a union of states, you see. Sorry, India is not a nation, it is a union of states.
Yeah.
You tell me, what is the guy going to do? What is he going to vote for? They come up with these bizarre slogans which nobody understands, or the latest, the Sanatana Dharma should be eradicated. See, the DMK was very safe as long as there was a linguistic barrier where their nonsense didn't get translated and transmitted.
Right.
The moment their nonsense gets translated and transmitted, that is where local issues start becoming national issues.
So do you feel that these guys, I mean, now that whatever they have been saying in the local language finally has been translated and the whole country knows about it, and now the Congress politicians who have actually held these beliefs, whatever their Nehruvian worldview, are now caught in a trap where they're having to agree with this because inside that is how they've felt all this while?
See, the Congress has to agree with this because, to use a Tamil word, 1/5 of the Congress's seats in Parliament is DMK pota picha.
Yes.
பிச்சைக்கார பசங்க என்ன DMK பிச்சை போட்டிருக்கோ அதை கையில எடுத்துட்டு நக்கிட்டு இருக்காங்க. So to translate that into Hindi, 1/5 of the Congress's seats are DMK का दिया हुआ भीख. एक भिखारी को भिखारीज can't have options. You see, I mean, when you're going, hey baba paisa de dena, you can't say, hey ये क्या तूने दाल चावल दिया, तंदूरी चिकन दे, पनीर टिक्का मसाला दे. You can't say that.
लेकिन ये देते क्यों हैं? What's the reason?
So the reason is, for whatever reason, Stalin gave them 10 seats in Tamil Nadu.
But this is something I've never understood.
I don't know why.
Okay.
But anyway, as I understand it, the DMK is in no mood to give them 10 seats anymore.
Oh, excellent.
So that is 10 seats gone there. 9 seats in Punjab gone, wiped off the map. They won 19 out of 20 seats in Kerala. That's going to come down.
Yes.
All those individual seats like Rai Bareli and things like that, which Sonia has announced she's not going to contest in, are going to come down. So the Congress really has no option. And do you think Priyank Kharge, who was the loudest in supporting what Dayanidhi said, do you think he's ever going to stand up by himself? Did he bring any votes? It was all DK Shivakumar or Siddaramaiah who got in the votes. Who voted for that
Kharge's,
fellow? So Kharge is an irrelevance, right? Nobody's going to vote for him. So he is the one. Notice DK Shivakumar did not open his mouth.
No, and DK Shivakumar never opens his mouth against any Hindu issue.
Hindu this thing. Did Siddaramaiah open his mouth? No. It was only the irrelevant fellow who considers Zubair to be his commander-in-chief, who opened his mouth. Okay? So, you see, all these irrelevant jokers, they are opening their mouth and they are causing disproportionate harm to the Congress. And who is Rahul Gandhi? Is he president of the Congress? No. Is he vice president of the Congress? No. What is he? Why is he there? Bas jo bhi. So and you saw that famous video clip, no, where Kharge enters the room, the daddy Kharge enters the room, and because there's only one chair at the center, he goes around looking at the INC sign till another chair is brought so that Rahul Gandhi can sit by him. You know, this kind of power without accountability, this remote control sarkar jo hai, where he is the de facto head of the Congress even when he isn't. This is not good. The Congress is being run like a government department where, a joint secretary can take a decision and not pay a price his entire career and he'll still become secretary to government and all of that. Rahul Gandhi is like that. So the cumulative negatives on that side are so great. It's impossible to come out of that toxic cycle.
Yeah. Now, I just want to go back, Anand, to what you mentioned about that speech, which is quite unknown actually, about the nano class that Modi gave in 2009, right?
Yes, yes.
And it's something that both of you spoke about, that he's trying to create this class of people, or at least uplift a large enough.
He's done it.
Yeah,
He's
I
done
think
it. Yeah,
he's in the
totally done
process
it.
actually,
Yeah.
maybe, or he's actually done it to a
Almost,
large extent,
yes,
maybe. And only then will the issues that like the intellectuals on our side talk about, those issues will sort of find prominence, etc. Only after that is realized, right?
Yes.
Now, is it something, or is it a strategy that you agree with?
Most certainly, because if you prioritize the issues, even I would say that toilets and cylinders are more important than, for example, abrogating Waqf Act or Places of Worship Act. I mean, so I would prioritize that as well. So yeah, most certainly. But having said that, I think the way he's done the social engineering to use or to repeat what was derisively once called as Brahmin Banya Party. BJP is no longer that.
Yeah.
In a span of 20 years, it's completely changed. The demographics has totally changed. And the new class that has come, the major nano class, is the class that has been very carefully, almost picked and chosen by Modi, And I doubt whether they are going to be as vociferous in demanding these 8 purely Hindu issues as the earlier BJP voters were. So, it's a two-pronged thing. A, that you work tirelessly in constructing or engineering a social class that didn't exist before. You deliver it, they are happy, they're going to vote for you. And B, they're not as bothered about these purely Hindu issues as the earlier Hindu voters of BJP was.
Okay.
So,
I would disagree there. I'll tell you why.
Yeah, is there anything you agree with me or?
When you are at that level, it is a competition between identity and subsistence. When you deliver on subsistence...
At what level? Like at the level of the
At
BJP,
the lowest level of the vote.
Okay.
When you deliver on subsistence issues, then identity becomes important. So I think, in fact, that this generation is going to be much more vocal in demanding what it sees its due as its identity, which is Hindutva, which is a Hindu identity that subsumes caste. For the Hindutva project, quite contrary to what these certain French alleged scholars say, where Hindutva is a Brahminical project, far from it. It's a project that subsumes caste identity, because you cannot be a Hindu first if you're putting your caste first.
Yes,
so to be a Hindu first, it has to subsume caste. Now, what does Modi's reforms do? It urbanizes a large section of the population. It is through urbanization and industrialization that caste, which is fundamentally a product of feudalization and the fragmentation, a medieval fragmentation of society, that ends. That is what removes the rationale of all of that. So it's very important that we understand that the more Modi delivers on development and things like that, the more identity issues are going to become important. You look today, the youth are much more open in demanding certain things with Kashi or whatever than they were even 20, 30 years back.
Certainly, yeah.
So even it's not monocausal. It's not just because of increased wealth and increased awareness and fewer subsistence issues. It's also because, today with the internet and things like that, people are much more aware. Information has been much more democratized, so that people are much more aware of these issues. And this is something Huntington also talks about. Remember, the richer a society grows, the more nationalist and identity conscious it becomes.
But then you have to explain the dichotomy or the contradictions of Tamil Nadu. The richer Tamil Nadu grows, the DMK vote base has not been wiped out, eradicated, far from it. I mean, you have DMK ministers en masse saying they want to wipe out Hinduism. Hinduism is a menace. So if by what Abhijit says is true, I'm not saying it's completely wrong, of course, but increasing prosperity, I think, is disconnected to this Hindutva identity. Tamil Nadu is an example of that. Otherwise, no party worth its salt is going to insult, abuse, and denigrate Hindus like DMK
Because
does.
which identity did they prioritize? See, therein lies the problem. In Tamil Nadu, you have never had a political party that has consolidated on the Hindu identity. They've consolidated on caste identity or racial identity, which they claim is a different Dravidian race, right? None of the other three so-called Dravidian states ever brought Dravidian politics. It's a tragedy of Tamil Nadu that the people who talk about Dravidian politics, not one of them is a Tamil. The Karunanidhi family is Telugu, MGR was Malu, and Jayalalitha was Kannadiga. So, it's...
and Rajnikant?
Is a
Also,
Marathi. Right. So, it has become more nationalist. The problem is what kind of nationalism? But it's Dravidian nationalism that was propagated out here. And it became very...
But they're Hindus, right?
Which became the secondary identity. See, you have to... Which identity do you highlight? The state plays a very crucial role in highlighting a certain identity.
So then, would you say that the DMK, whatever its project has been over the last few decades, has been much successful at the state level than the Congress has been nationally in creating this kind of an identity amongst its people?
Yes, because remember, the Congress identity was really... It revolved around a point of time.
Yeah,
in
and
opposition to something, right? The problem is, if you devolve it around a point of time, the relevance of that point of time changes. Like, today, for example, 5,000 years back, if you had elections in India, the followers of Sudas and Bharata, they would go around saying, see, my granddad fought the battle of the 10 kings, and you people should all vote for me. Today, if some guy goes and says, my great granddad was King Sudas who fought the battle of the 10 kings, they'll slap you and drive you out of town.
Okay.
Now, today, if you go around saying, my granddad got you independence 70 years back, who gives a damn? So, see, they've forgotten what a nation state is. You have to see, you can have an ideological nation state. America, for example, which was a fair chance for everyone. Okay. You can have linguistic nation states like Germany or Italy, which have a consistent identity. An ideology or a fair chance is a consistent. But a point of time evolves and changes. So the Congress never built the national identity. It was always secondary to the
temporal factor.
The temporal factor of being a Congress creation in opposition to the British Empire at one given point of time. And they should have understood this, because they saw all of Nehru and Indira Gandhi's anti-colonialist friends, they all dropped like 9 pins, remember?
Yes.
Mugabe, Julius Nyerere, Fidel Castro, all of them. They all based it on anti-colonialism, and then when colonialism stopped, bacha kya hai for you to oppose? So, for all their smarts and everything, they're also very sociologically very stupid. Shashi Tharoor is the smart one, because he wrote that book to remind people of what the British did to you, except that even when he wrote it, nobody was really interested in it anymore. Which is why I used to get pretty upset when the right wing in India used to keep going after the British. I'm like, bhai, wo time chala gaya hai. There's that famous Hindi song, बोलो कल की बातें, कल की बात पुरानी, नए दौर में लिखेंगे क्या? What?
फिर से नई कहानी,
हम हिंदुस्तानी, हम हिंदुस्तानी. So it's...
But I think, Abhijit, what has happened,
you have to reimagine.
You're right about the Congress hopping back on its glorious days and leaders. First of all, technically that's not correct, because this is not the Congress of the freedom struggle.
Of course.
This is Congress
this is
I.
The third iteration, not even the second.
Yes, Congress I, that has split again twice. And so they're basically pulling wool over people's eyes. That's number one. Number two, if you look at the states where you can reasonably predict with a lot of certainty that Congress is never going to come back to power. Tamil Nadu is one. Bengal is another. So many other states. It was in power for a very long time, for decades on end. Why did it lose it? I think it lost it because, ironically, it disregarded what Rahul Gandhi is saying now. It wanted India not to be represented by a union of states. It just thought there is one pan-Indian identity and we are going to rule forever if we portray that as our identity, right? It completely misread the groundswell in Tamil Nadu for a regional identity, in Odisha, in Bengal. It misread it decade upon decade and it's completely lost it. So now Rahul Gandhi has realized that, look, if we want to wrench power, we are going to go and say, oh, look, Tamil pride, Bengal pride, this pride, that pride, dividing India. So Congress wanted to unite India, but as Abhijit said, you don't unite India on the basis of India was great once and when we were quote unquote fighting for it and ruling it and all that. No, you don't even unite India, which BJP's project used to be. कि हम पहले सोने की चिड़िया थे, अब गर्व करते हैं यार, किताबों में बहुत अच्छा लगता है ये, लेकिन अगर आपके पास गैस सिलेंडर नहीं है, हॉस्पिटल नहीं है और टॉयलेट्स नहीं है ना, आप राजा भोज की कहानी सुनाएंगे, सोने की चिड़िया सुनाएंगे, nobody is going to vote for you. That Modi realized. Now Congress has realized we need to split. So their project is much more dangerous. Modi wants to unite India by removing the regional identity, by giving them things that they never had.
Yes.
Right? Rahul wants to divide India and rule state upon state by actually saying that take pride in regional identity. We are a union of states. And which is more dangerous? Of course, the division.
Yes. So before we end this, I want to just come back to to a point that you made in the beginning about the RSS and how they have been outnumbered now 28-1 or 26-1.
28-1.
I didn't know that.
1.
I mean, that's
and which is like a very.
How did the RSS allow that for a start?
They had no say in it because it was BJP expansion.
Yeah, and this is actually like a very, a very Modi thing to do, right? In the sense that they leave no stone unturned for any political sort of eventuality. So now, how are what is the equation between the BJP and the RSS, and how has that changed? Like, do they have a lesser say in the way things happen because of this, or what really changes now?
I think it's very clearly a lesser say. I don't think the RSS holds that sway over
Which
the
it did
BJP,
once.
Which it did once upon a time. It's not that the RSS is disrespected, but the RSS is not listened to. I think that's become very, very clear.
Okay.
You will get some old fogies from the RSS made governor here and there, but that's about it.
So can you give me, like, let's say 3 examples where the RSS's view has not been listened to by this government?
Well, micro details though, I don't know. Because, these things would be between the
very secret.
Sarsangchalak and the Prime Minister.
Sarsangchalak and the Prime Minister. But there are a lot of things, for example, the biggest one is the Modi personality cult. Personality cult is complete anathema to the RSS because they believe a true Swayam Sevak subsumes himself. He's nobody. He's faceless. Everything is done for the good of the institution and the nation. So the most in-your-face defiance of the RSS. Remember, Vajpayee never had this kind of a cult about him. Whereas this is now turned into a full-blown, almost North Korean-style personality cult. Of course, it's very unfair to use North Korea out of context
Congress,
because
totally.
Growing up, the Congress was worse than North
Much
Korea.
worse, yeah.
You look at the body language of the G20 competition.
When I went to Pyongyang, I was like, this is the 1980s Delhi. This everything here about Kim Jong-un and whatever reminds me of Indira Gandhi and Rajiv Gandhi while I was growing up. We're almost back to that level of individual projection. Which I understand why it's being done. I'm very uncomfortable with it, but
it's it's a political necessity, I would think, right?
Now, I don't know the answer to that because if you look at every tweet of every minister, now you expect a lot of ministers to do it, but you certainly don't expect
some
few ministers to do it.
Who are also
Everyone is doing it. People are even ministers are attributing an Oscar award to the visionary leadership of Narendra Modi. It's gone crazy. It's actually, it's like it was a race between Congress and the BJP, and every party has, promote psychophancy, of course. But the BJP is probably left even Congress behind, or maybe it's the same or approaching it. It's crazy. Why would you do it unless, and I used to get very irritated initially 2014 to 16, and I even have run campaigns about how shameless BJP is in putting these full page newspaper ads, but I stopped it after a while because there's no point ranting on and on when even the Supreme Court said, yes, you can do it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you look like a fool if you every day you wake up. So now you wake up, and I'm used to first 6 papers are complete full page ads of, Narendra Modi, Yogi. He obviously knows he's doing it. So hence the question, Abhijit, why is he not stopping it? He is the same guy who said, look, I don't want this Congress culture to seep in.
But you have to, you defeat fire with fire. That's the only explanation. I'm very uncomfortable with it. So, for example, let me give you some of the cringe tweets that have come out today. Shri Dharmendra Pradhan ji. PM Narendra ji continues to be the most trusted and popular world leader, consistently topping the list over the years, and reflects the trust and faith on his reliable and visionary leadership. And he has tweeted this graphic. Now, is this the job of a minister to be doing?
Yeah.
But this is what he does. Obsequious beyond belief. Then, another one from Honorable Shri Dharmendra Pradhan ji. 21st century infrastructure for a 21st century India. Yasho Bhumi, the state-of-the-art world-class international convention exhibition center at Dwarka, to be inaugurated by PM Narendra Modi ji on 17 September. Why do we need to know this? And is this his department to be tweeting about? No, but he is. Dr. S. Jayashankar. Now look how this thing comes in. Warm greetings to the government and the people of Papua New Guinea on their 48th Independence Day. Confident that PM Narendra Modi's recent visit has imparted a new energy to our ties. Bhai, it is their Independence Day. Can you please not drag in Narendra Modi into their Independence Day? It's not like Biju Patnaik who helped. See, if it was Indonesian Independence Day and you brought in Biju Patnaik, flying those flights, supplying arms to the Indonesian revolutionaries, even that I can understand. But what did Narendra Modi have to do with the independence of Papua New Guinea, boss?
नहीं, पर कभी-कभी तो मुझे लगता है कि ये, they are, so if people hate Narendra Modi, they might do it deliberately. This is Inception style. I don't like, I might be shifted from one ministry. Let me do this so that people get irritated by this and start hating Modi. मतलब कभी मुझे लगता है मोदी कहेगा क्या कर रहा है यार? हरवाएगा क्या? बस कर पगले.
I think for these ones, the instructions come right from the PMO.
Really?
Yeah.
It's crazy. So hence you have to ask the question: was the Congress model correct? After all, to have these, demigods made and Indira Gandhi cutouts and all those things. Are we going towards that?
I think in a pre-industrial society like us, very much so. Indians need a hero of some kind, a larger-than-life hero, right? You need film heroes, you need cricket heroes, you need political heroes. India is not a country that votes for issues. India is not a country that celebrates, that talks about issues. It is one that is very personality driven. So I think it's a very cultural milieu that is very unique to India. And I think it will continue to be unique to India for the next at least 20, 30 years. It will be very personality driven.
Every single step, for example, I remember when we were young and, Ms. Jayalalitha would put her photograph on everything that the government was supplying, right from, thank God didn't stamp the idlis, but, everything else. And Narendra Modi started doing the same. You had the vaccine certificates, you had all sorts, you have Narendra Modi Stadium, although he could have stopped it. I'm not saying that he said, name the stadium after me, but if some fool is going to name the stadium after him, you're a respectable leader, you're alive, and you say, don't do that, don't do that. He didn't say that. So I don't think he's relishing the cult, this kind of thing, but I think he's realized, as Abhijit says, कि boss, this is helping me or win the election. और ये आ गया कि अगर 0.001% भी कुछ चीज मदद कर रही है, उसको ठुकराओ नहीं. ये he might not enjoy this, but he's saying, is it harming me? Is all this?
And I think we should be very clear that it is not harming him. Far from it, it is helping him.
So
because when you are looking at this larger than life leader everywhere, at some level a psychosis builds that this guy is a truly, even if you don't like it.
Plus, you see,
This
the
is a
other thing
great
is,
leader, great.
who is the opponent?
There is nobody.
आपने
Na, that's the
इतना
thing.
इन्फ्लेट कर दिया एक आदमी को कि मतलब कोई ऑपोजिशन अगर है भी, that guy is invisible to the public eye. So they're saying not only is there no number 2 in the BJP, there is no opposite of Modi anywhere. So as long as Modi is alive, he's the only alternative. So this was the psychology of Indira Gandhi. You know?
This is why they are so desperate for, Rahul to be projected by the media and things, because they can't do it through government schemes. Because all the government schemes that are actually reaching out to the ordinary people are central government schemes. Toilets
Yes.
and electricity are all central government schemes, right? So they are now flummoxed on how do we, even if there is somebody to be projected against him for the election, कैसे project करोगे?
ठीक है, I think that's a good note to end on. This has been quite a fascinating session. So
And we end in agreement as well. So
yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot, gentlemen.
real pleasure. And once again, thank you to you, to Parthada, to Alo, to the bell tinkering Gloria, for again yet another marvelous PLF. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the PLF. Like I said, it was total icing on the cupcake.
And what's your count? How many have you baptized?
I have baptized
In the
many
last 2-3
people.
two,
I'm
3 days?
most proud of having baptized Meenakshi Jain from
my
now on
God,
to be
okay.
known
she's also
as Sister Griselda Theophilus.
Right.
Yesterday she was very thankful. For the first time, she didn't feel protein deprived anymore because she had chicken cutlets.
Okay. I thought she would have excess rice now.
No, she's eating protein finally, and she's very grateful to me for it.
You're going to invite him next year as well after all this?
Yeah, absolutely. We need everyone to be baptized.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.